Howdy Neighbors, David here. And today on Boondock Stallions, we're going to be taking a look at the Harry Potter series and asking ourselves a couple of questions. Question number one, were there two chosen ones instead of just one chosen one? And two, who, on the night of October 31st, when Harry Potter was attacked, was most directly responsible for protecting Harry from Voldemort? Did you say the answer to question number two was Lily Potter? That is incorrect. Now, it's true that Lily Potter died, and her sacrifice is what gave Harry the protection to keep him safe from Voldemort for the next 17 years. But here's the thing about that. One, I'm pretty sure that Dumbledore was lying about the protection lasting over the household for 17 years simply because magical charms that are basically unbreakable are unbreakable. So, having said that, that charm should have lasted forever, but until 17 was kind of a nice little white lie on Dumbledore's part to make sure that the Dursleys did, in fact, keep Harry there until he was of legal wizarding age, in which he'd be able to come back to the magical world and put around him any magical protection that he would need. So, Lily's sacrifice doesn't really mean much when you think about James Potter dying first, don't you think? Now, James Potter died so that Lily and Harry could have a chance to survive. Isn't that exactly why Lily died, to save Harry? So shouldn't James's sacrifice have given Lily a reason, or I'm sorry, given Lily and Harry the protection that Lily's sacrifice gave Harry? No, it shouldn't have. Now, the reason it didn't is very specific. There's one reason that this did not protect Lily the way that Lily's sacrifice protected Harry. James wasn't given a choice. You see, Voldemort walked in, murdered James, and then asked Lily to step out of the way or be killed. And Lily chose to die for Harry. It's pretty basic. Lily chose, like I said, she could have survived and walked away from it, but she chose to die for her child, and that's what made the difference. But you see, why did Voldemort ask Lily to get out of the way? Why was he willing to spare her? The answer to that is Severus Snape. You see, Snape was in love with Lily his entire life. And I'm going to do a separate video on defending Professor Snape because he really does get a lot of hate in the groups on Facebook. And I really don't see why, if you have any empathy at all, you really should be able to sympathize with Snape and figure out that he was in fact a good guy. But because he loved Lily, he asked Voldemort to spare her. And because Voldemort stopped and asked her, that is what gave Harry all the protection that he needed. That simple little choice. Imagine, if you will, that Snape didn't know that he was going to go and attack, Voldemort was going to go and attack Lily and Harry and James. He wouldn't have stopped and asked for Lily to be saved. Voldemort would have gone in there, killed James, killed Lily, killed Harry, and made sure that we never got the book series that we all know and love as Harry Potter and all 7 of his years at Hogwarts. So, Snape is really the most directly responsible person for saving Harry that night. If he hadn't been in love with Lily enough to ask Voldemort to spare her, Lily would have died anyways, and Harry would have followed without the magical protection. So the reason I'm bringing up this question is to pose another one. Is Snape also a chosen one? Now, I know, forgive the card that y'all clicked on for my thumbnail because I could only find pictures of chosen ones. And since Neville technically could have been a chosen one, as a matter of fact, had Voldemort chosen the pureblood like himself, chosen the pureblood as we all expected him to instead of the half-blood, the whole series might have been all around Neville instead of Harry. Neville is just as likely a candidate for the prophecy. But what if Trelawney's prophecy wasn't exactly one part? Like, it starts off with the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches. Born as the 7th month died. The Dark Lord will mark him as an equal, but he'll have magic the Dark Lord knows not. What if that very first line in the prophecy, the one with the power to vanquish the Dark Lord approaches, isn't actually talking about Harry getting ready to be born? He's actually talking about Snape, as Snape was approaching Trelawney and Dumbledore's room where the prophecy was being made, and he did in fact have the power that would ultimately defeat Voldemort. What was that power? Anybody? 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 That's right, love. Love is exactly what defeated Voldemort. It was Snape's love for Lily that asked him to ask Voldemort to spare her life. It is Lily's love for Harry that caused her to sacrifice her own life to protect Harry. Love is what Harry used to defeat Voldemort. Even in book 7, when he gets to the end, Voldemort gives Harry the choice. Oh my God, he killed it, hoisted by his own petard again. So Voldemort gave Harry a choice. He said, you can continue to let your friends suffer and die in your name, or you can walk into the forest, face me head on, and only you will die, and then minimal numbers of your friends will die after that. And Harry chose to walk into the forest. Harry chose to walk into the forest and face death head on. He chose to die for all of these people the way his mother chose to die for him. So, having said that, do you think that Snape could also be a chosen one? Now, chosen ones are a little wibbly wobbly when you get down to the nitty gritty of it. If you're familiar with the Star Wars story, Anakin was the chosen one, and when you get to Rise of Skywalker, which forgive me is not a movie, but he even makes mention to Rey, bring the Force back into balance the way that I did. But even that seems wrong because Anakin didn't bring the Force back into balance. See, he didn't actually kill Palpatine or do anything successful except slow the Empire down. He basically just wounded their leg and they limped on and came back as a First Order with Palpatine at their head. Once again, you just slowed him down. There was no bringing balance to the Force, implying that Anakin wasn't the chosen one, and it could be multiple chosen ones. It's about balance. There should be two sides to the same coin. For example, the Matrix. Now, the Matrix is a perfect example of having multiple chosen ones because Neo and Smith are both the one. Now, I know at face value, Neo is the one, he's the one, he's the one. But if you've been paying attention to the movie, it starts off in the very first movie with him knowing he's not the one, and the Oracle told him not the one. Let's look at the path of the chosen one in the Matrix movie. The chosen one will be born in the Matrix. He will be able to bend everything in the Matrix to change to his will and make things as he wants them, which is something that even Anakin talked about doing. And then he was meant to go back to the Machine City, return into the Matrix, have his code reinserted, and bring balance, or bring peace amongst the machines and the people. And yeah, Neo kind of did that, but also Smith exactly did that. Smith, a program born in the Matrix, was able to change everything. Did you see what he did in parts 2 and 3? He changed every single person in every single city in all of the Matrix to be him and absorbed all of their powers, and there was no beating him. And Neo realized that there was no beating him. He had to join him to fulfill the prophecy. By allowing Smith to take over his body, he allowed Smith to return to his body in the Machine City, be reinserted into the Matrix, and bring peace amongst the machines and the people. So it's not uncommon that these stories have a hidden second chosen one. Have you ever seen the yin and the yang? It's about balance and coming together. And I'm sorry my computer keeps doing that. Anyways, that's my quick little theory. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Be excellent to each other. And as always, party on, dudes. Hi, puppy.